When change is inevitable, the best thing what we can do is be the part of change. Since the beginning of 2022, we have seen numerous and unprecedented changes shaping the world and its economy for reasons we all know. Under these circumstances, a robust strategy to help business flourish is eminent. VYAPT Growth Series is a platform to help businesses share about strategies that would infuse growth in the future. In our growth series today, we have with us Mr. Vonod Sood, co-founder and MD of Hughes Systique Corporation. Hi Vinod, nice to have
Hi,
you.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We'll move ahead with our curiosities, and since you now represent an eminent organization into an IT company, I'm sure our viewers would be more than willing to learn from you and understand the kind of scenarios we have. My first curiosity to you is how has digital disruption impacted different industries across the globe, and within that, how does IT industry stand to gain and grow due to this transformation?
First of all, Pankaj, thank you very much for inviting me onto your platform. And I look forward to the next 25, 30 minutes of this conversation with you. And your first question is around digital disruption. How is this impacting different industries across the globe, and how does the IT industry, and this is the industry which I come from, and Hughes Systique, the company which I co-founded with a few of my other colleagues, is right in the midst of this digital disruption. So to answer your question, technology is becoming all pervasive and is getting integrated in all aspects of the enterprise, right from enhancing the customer experience, redesigning and reconfiguring business processes and operations to make them more optimal, efficient, and friction free.
Mhm.
New age technologies are becoming mainstream and are becoming part of our everyday life. And this is the reason why many believe that the coming decade will be a decade, one where technology is central to life and business. The entire world is looking at technology to solve all kinds of problems, not just business, but also issues related to environment, sustainability, workforce diversity, and other societal issues. Industries across the world realized the importance of technology and digitalization during the pandemic, providing resilience to maintain continuity of supply chains for connecting consumers, employers, and vendors. IT or technology, which used to be a support function for industries, now actually has become the core function for any industry.
Mhm.
And in fact, technology is disrupting business models. In fact, creating altogether new businesses where tech is at the center of the business and not at the periphery. I think in the long run, digitalization has far reaching impact to change the overall working of the larger society by bringing in transparency and efficiency. Now, let me take a few interesting advances made in different industries by leveraging information technology. So, let's first talk about advances in agriculture, and this is very, very important and relevant for a country like India. As
Mhm.
we know, Government of India has been pushing for modernization of agriculture,
Mhm.
including remote or drone monitoring of crop cover, land use, etc. Now, 5G, I think, will dramatically increase the reach of automation and monitoring. A very big use case here is the monitoring of agricultural assets remotely, for
Mhm.
example, by using 5G equipped drones. Now, this technology can be used across all parts of the production process in agriculture life cycle, ranging from soil quality to crop quality to advanced warning against crop pathogens, etc. In addition, you can also incentivize carbon capture by paying for green cover, which in fact is already being planned as we talk. The second one, which I want to talk about, and this also is in line with our focus on increasing manufacturing. So, as is well known, advances in manufacturing, uh, because of technology, there is pretty much a manufacturing revolution which is underway. And this depends on integration of AI and computer vision directly into the manufacturing process.
Mhm.
So coming to the IT industry, I think IT industry stands to gain as the future will be driven by a digital ecosystem of companies.
Mhm.
Tech adoption is the way ahead and it throws a lot of opportunities for IT industry which understands the power of software to help enable businesses to become digital first. And the Indian tech industry is, I think, in a very unique position to leverage its deep rooted expertise in helping industries worldwide through world class talent, processes, and technology leadership. Companies like our company, Hughes Systique, which is a digital engineering solutions and services company, are rightly positioned to enable customers across industry verticals in their digital transformation journey.
So, Mr. Sood, you just talked around that digital has always been an enabler, and digitalization has far-reaching impact, and we have seen in the past. But the interesting thing was when you talked about the agriculture sector and other sectors where the future will be driven by tech ecosystem. So now there's an ecosystem which is developing, and it is helping various other sectors, obviously driven by the kind of research what Hughes Systique talks around that in the telecom and other segments, including IT. So
Right.
having said that, what is that the prominent thing which you feel in the light of this colossal digital transformation wave? What opportunities is the IT industry creating for, let's say, the next generation or
Mhm.
the, let's say, millennials, and
Mhm.
what according to you are some of the key skills that they need to arm themselves with, and to succeed professionally? And this is something what is very very concurrent with this new generation, because they would like to understand, they want to
Right.
become a part of the
Right.
entire ecosystem to contribute.
Right. 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 Absolutely. So first, let me talk about briefly about the IT industry in India. So
Mhm.
as we just saw, IT is becoming a key. It is becoming core to any industry rather than being peripheral.
Mhm.
And as far as India is concerned, the IT industry is the backbone for a economy,
Mhm.
and it is very critical, playing a very critical role for our economy to prosper, as well as get to the 5 trillion mark.
Mhm.
IT sector's contribution to India's GDP in 21-22 stood at 9%.
Mhm.
The IT sector this fiscal crossed the 200 billion US dollar revenue mark
Mhm.
and is expected to be a $350 billion industry by 2026 fiscal. Now, apart from this, and basically apart from generating foreign direct investment, IT industry also generates millions of jobs.
True.
IT sector today has 5 million employees and very
Mhm.
interestingly promotes diversity. So out of these 5 million jobs, uh, 2 million are women. And another very important thing which I want to point out here is that for every direct job, IT sector also generates four indirect jobs.
Mhm.
So the 5 million employees which the IT sector employs, indirectly there is another 20 million jobs which it creates. Okay.
Hmm.
So now coming to the to your question in terms of the skills, okay, and the competencies which Generation Z should develop. Okay. So what I would like to say is, and I'm not focusing on the tech skills. Okay. Uh, that depends on the kind of domain, kind of project one is executing. But
Hmm.
other than the tech skills, okay, the skills which the Generation Z should develop in order to succeed professionally. And in fact, what I would also like to state is that, in fact, these are the qualities which any generation should have or should develop to succeed professionally. Okay.
Hmm.
And the first is be adaptable. Okay. An acceptance that change is a constant and that changing your mind based on new information is a strength rather than a weakness. Okay. I think that is going to be very important. Gone are the days of well defined job roles and responsibilities. So, what one needs to do is one needs to be flexible and adaptable, be ready to contribute to the needs of the project, team, or the organization as needed. And this is especially true when one is part of a startup. The second one is be engaged. And what I mean is a willingness to learn, interact, and communicate with internal and external stakeholders, combined with a strong sense of interest and curiosity in emerging trends. And this is something which will help you as you progress in your career. Okay.
Hmm.
The third one, I think, which is going to be very, very important is being collaborative. So there is going to be focus on people and people skills, both
Hmm.
within and outside the organization. And this, I think, is going to be one of the most crucial skills needed to succeed in the face of constantly evolving career roles and requirements. And to add to this and related to this is build knowledge. And what I mean by this is, and as we all know, that the role of sound knowledge of skills in the making of a professional in any field, this can't be overemphasized. But what we have to now keep in mind is that the future of education and work is changing and actually is converging very rapidly. Learning will need to extend through a professional's career with competency development and reskilling
Hmm.
becoming a way of life and not just a stage in life.
Hmm.
Earlier, Pankaj, as you will relate, we used to learn, work, and then we used to retire, right?
True.
But now it's going to be learn, work, then maybe you take a break, you pursue your dream, you indulge in your hobby, again learn, relearn, work, and the cycle will keep repeating. Okay.
Hmm.
So one has to be very clear that it's going to be a lifelong learning.
Hmm.
And last but not the least, I think, which is going to be very, very important, is develop the ability to analyze and get actionable insights. What we all know and see is that there is an explosion of new digital tools and there
Hmm.
is growth of data and information. Okay, there is whole lot of data, whole lot of information, all kind of digital tools are available. But what is going to be important is how you can apply your analytical and reasoning skills to
Hmm.
effectively use these tools and data to create insights that produce results in a wide range of context. So I
Hmm.
think these are some of the skills other than your technical skills, okay, which you need to develop. if you have to succeed in what we also call as the VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, okay, complex, and ambiguous.
This was really enlightening, Mr. Sood, when you talked about that the cycles are going to be shorter now, and in this journey we'll have many stations, and these stations could be one cycle, and then the other station is the another cycle. And you just talked about
Absolutely.
that being adaptable is something which is the need of the hour, and obviously going ahead in terms of contributing the needs of the organization, being engaged, collaborative, and obviously building knowledge and being passionate about what we want to do. And one more thing which was most interesting part was that learning should never stop,
Yes.
and that would be continue throughout the life if you actually want to survive in this fast aged digital world. I think you summed up really well in terms of giving some kind of information to the people who definitely want to make a great career in this industry. After this, we'll go with a rapid fire round, and
Okay.
this is going to be really interesting, Mr. Sood, as we
Uh-huh.
get to know a lot of things about you on this live platform.
Okay. So you are putting me on.
So 10 questions, and
Okay.
you it's all one word answers you have to give. You may like to elaborate if you feel like, but the best would be one word answers.
Okay.
So here we go. The first one is your favorite Hollywood actor.
Okay. So I will name two actors,
Okay.
Al Pacino and Marlon Brando. I'm an old school guy, so I don't know. Maybe Gen Z will identify with these, but they definitely would have heard about Godfather and Godfather Two,
Yeah. They're
right?
quite famous characters. If you talk about Al
Yeah,
Pacino.
and Al Pacino recently in 2019, I think, also was the main character in Irishman.
True.
Yeah,
So we go ahead with the second one. Your favorite singer.
Talat Mahmood.
Okay. So you fond of ghazals, you know?
Yeah, I'm fond of ghazals and Talat Mahmood. Some of the very, yeah, जलते हैं जिसके लिए इतना ना मुझसे तू, right? All these are, yeah, all time classics.
Wonderful. So after this, we move on to the third question. Your favorite summer activity.
Uh, Actually, when the kids were in school, then obviously the summer activity used to be pretty much going on a vacation somewhere because that was the school time, and or going for swimming, okay, with them.
That was most needed yesterday. 49.1.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
What is your favorite movie dialogue?
Uh, अरे वो सांबा कितने आदमी थे?
Okay, the famous one from.
The famous from Sholay.
Okay. How many books have you read so far this year?
This year, I think I would have read about 8 or 10
Okay.
in that range. Yeah, definitely 7, 8, definitely.
Okay. So if you could paint anything, what would you paint?
I'm a nature lover, so I would paint a landscape which has mountains and maybe lakes and river flowing, something like that.
Okay. Now again, something on experimentation once again. If you would write a book,
Hmm.
what it would be about?
I think in fact I on and off we have been talking. This is a couple of my very good friends and we spent almost I would say 15, 17 years of our careers together. First
Mm-hmm.
in Center for Development of Telematics, way back in 80s, when we were building the India's digital switch, and then later when Hughes came to India in 1992 and started Hughes Software, so we were together. So we have been talking that we did some very path breaking, unique things, both
Mm-hmm.
in terms of technology as well as in terms of creating a work environment which is
Mm-hmm.
people centric, value system, culture, and this was in 80s and early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been thinking that it might be a good idea for us to get together and write a book where
Mm-hmm.
we can share what we did,
Mm-hmm.
our experiences and learnings, and maybe that book can be some kind of a uh, torch bearer for the younger generation.
I think that would be really great because if you talk about 40 years back, vis-a-vis what we are having today, at that point of time we had nothing, no
Yes, yes,
technology. Today we have the best of the best available technology. So I think that
right,
would be really good idea, and it would be inspiration for younger generation. That
right,
if with such a lack of technology we could do so much, then
right,
today is an era of growth and prosperity. Uh,
right.
so you'd write a book on your journey, and the next question is your favorite holiday destination.
Switzerland.
Which was the last film you watched?
Uh, Actually, in the last couple of weeks, watched two, three movies. Gangubhai. Then there was this nice movie, Dasvi,
Mhm.
and also one of the Oscar, I think, nominees, Nomadland. So I
Okay.
remember these two or three movies which we watched in the last 3, 4 weeks.
Okay. What is the last thing you liked on social media?
That's a tough one. I really don't remember because yeah, I'm active on LinkedIn. So yeah, so in fact yeah, there was this post which was by Amit Rajan, ex
Mhm.
LinkedIn, and then he was very actively involved in the DigiLocker
Mhm.
project of Government of India, and he
Mhm.
had mentioned something that this is what Netflix did.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and I remembered that 30 years back we had done something which
Mhm.
was similar. So basically, I mentioned that yeah, we did this something 30 years back while we were at CDOT.
Mhm.
So I liked that, and then I commented, yeah, commented on that post.
Well done, Mr. Sood. I think you have done it well. You get
Oh,
10 on 10 in this
oh,
rapid
thank
fire
you.
questions.
I'm relieved.
We move on to our last curiosity now.
Okay.
From the course of your professional journey, what are the three most noteworthy lessons you learned that you want to leave with our audience today?
Okay. I think a great question. And what I will do is, and because you also, in fact, specified that based on my professional journey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so I think the first one is follow your passion. And towards this, what I would suggest is uh, now is the time when you should explore various options, pursue different paths to really figure out what you love doing and actually want to do your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what this may mean is that you need to take some risk. And I think it is fine taking a calculated risk, to find out what your true passion is. Because,
Mhm.
yeah, you might be very lucky that you may find your true passion on day one. But I
Mhm.
think for most of us, okay, what it takes is trying out few different things
Mhm.
before we are really able to figure out that this is something which we love doing. This is something which we are also good at, and we
Mhm.
would like to do it major portion of our life. So, so that is something which I'll say that do follow your passion, and towards that, be ready to take a risk in terms of trying out different options to really figure out what your passion is. The second one, and I alluded to that while answering your second question, be a learner. Okay. So learning doesn't stop when you finish your studies. Learning continues. Be a lifelong learner. And also, what is very important is keep learning from your life experiences. Okay. And I say this to all the new members of the Hughes Systique family, all our new employees. Okay. And I have a meeting with them once a month wherein I welcome them to Hughes Systique, and I tell them that it's okay to make a mistake, but it is foolish if you make the same mistake again. Okay.
Mhm.
So so learn from your life experience. And the
Mhm.
third one, invest in genuinely building relationships. Add value wherever you can to others' life. In fact, by helping others, you inspire your colleagues and peers, and in fact, that shows your leadership skills.
Mhm.
And we all know that the best performers, they lead through influence and collaboration rather than their titles.
True.
And let me conclude by saying this. Success in one's career is not a predictable formula. Sometimes your best efforts may go waste, and sometimes you get success when you never thought of. That is life, unpredictable with many ups and downs, not deterministic. Now, what is important is to have a broad and flexible perspective towards life, not get arrogant with success, and also not depressed with failures. Don't leave any opportunity to learn, make mistakes, and experiment, and learn from those experiments and those mistakes. So that is how I would like to conclude.
Really very impressive, the kind of thought process you have and the kind of things, because you talked about your passion, you talked about taking calculated risk, and yourself is an epitome of success when you talk about taking calculated risk way back and building an organization so robust that it is probably helping millions of people directly and indirectly in their day-to-day work and lives. I think that's going to be a very inspirational for our people, not only for youngsters but also people those who want to genuinely take some calculated risk, be passionate, and explore every option before taking a decision. Thank you, Mr. Sood, that you have inspired a lot for our viewers, and also you have given some path breaking different kind of strategies and other things which would be required into an IT industry as well as for an engineering organization which is helping IT industry to flourish. Thank you so much for being a part of VYAPT Growth Series.
Thank you, Pankaj, and it was really very nice talking to you. I enjoyed this entire conversation, and look forward to continuing this interaction. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.